There comes a moment in life when a single question has the power to change everything. A moment of raw clarity where all distractions fall away, leaving you face to face with the truth you've been avoiding. That question? What stupid thing am I doing that I could stop? It seems simple, almost too simple, and yet most people will never have the courage to ask it, because to answer it means to confront reality, to acknowledge the ways in which they sabotage their own progress, to admit that their suffering is in many ways self-inflicted. Buddha once said, "Pain is certain, suffering is optional," but most people choose suffering. They choose it every time they make the same mistakes, fall into the same habits, allow the same excuses to dictate their lives. And the worst part, they don't even realize they're doing it. They wake up each day, drowning in distractions, numbing themselves with temporary pleasure, procrastinating on the things that actually matter. They say they want change, but they do nothing to create it. And time, it doesn't wait. Every wasted moment is another step away from the life they were meant to live. So ask yourself, what's holding you back? What toxic habits, negative thoughts, or limiting beliefs are keeping you small? And more importantly, how much longer are you willing to let them control you? Because here's the truth, no one is coming to save you. If you don't fix yourself now, you may never get another chance. But there is a way out. There are powerful principles rooted in Buddhist wisdom that can break these chains and set you free. If you understand them, not just intellectually, but deep in your bones, everything will shift. But that shift can only happen if you're willing to see your life for what it is, without the lies, without the excuses, without the false comfort of telling yourself you'll change someday. The first lesson? The discipline of freedom. There was once an archer, known across the land for his precision. His secret wasn't in his arrows, but in his discipline. Every single day he trained with unwavering focus, knowing that the bow, if held too loosely, would fail to launch the arrow, and if pulled too recklessly, it would miss its mark. This is the paradox of freedom. True liberation does not come from doing whatever you want. It does not come from indulging in every craving, every impulse, every distraction. That is not freedom. That is chaos. The mind, when left undisciplined, is like an unstrung bow, weak, erratic, ineffective. Without structure, without control, you drift. You waste your potential. Buddhism teaches the middle way, the balance between indulgence and self-denial. Because discipline isn't a cage, it's the very thing that sharpens your aim in life. It's the force that turns dreams into reality. Look around. What separates those who achieve from those who stagnate? It isn't luck. It isn't talent. It's the ability to endure the necessary tension, to focus on a target before releasing. Without discipline, your goals are nothing more than wishful thinking. Your habits, your routines, these shape your destiny more than any external force ever could. Yet most people resist discipline because it feels restrictive. They seek comfort over commitment, ease over effort. But what is more painful, temporary discomfort or lifelong regret? A person without self-discipline becomes a prisoner of their own impulses. They wake up late, they procrastinate on their dreams, they let distractions dictate their lives, and slowly their potential withers, buried beneath excuses. The great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Freedom is not given to us by anyone. We have to cultivate it ourselves. It is a daily practice." Self-mastery is an act of love toward your future self. Every disciplined action you take today is a gift to the person you are becoming. Imagine waking up tomorrow with clarity, knowing your day is aligned with your purpose. No more chaos, no more wasted energy, just steady, focused progress. And it starts with one simple act of discipline. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today. What will it be? Will you finally commit to the habit you keep postponing? Will you wake up early? Will you stop mindlessly scrolling through distractions? Because neglecting discipline leads to disorder, to suffering, to wasted time. But embracing it unlocks a kind of freedom that few ever experience, the freedom to design your life with intention. The archer does not fear the tension of the bow because he knows it is necessary to hit his mark. Likewise, do not fear discipline. It is not your enemy. It is your greatest ally. So ask yourself, what's one habit you can refine today that your future self will thank you for? The second lesson: face your inner demons before they grow. Deep within the mountains, a traveler stumbled upon an ancient cave. Legends warned of a monster lurking inside, a creature born from the fears of those who dared to enter. Most turned away, terrified of what they might find. But one monk, wise and unshaken, stepped forward. With only a small lantern in his hands, he walked into the darkness. The deeper he went, the louder the growls became. Yet when he finally shined his light upon the so-called monster, he saw the truth. It was only a shadow, a distortion of his own fears. This is how most people live their lives, running from shadows they refuse to face. But what happens when you ignore your inner demons? They don't disappear. They grow. The fears you suppress, the regrets you bury, the guilt you pretend doesn't exist. These unacknowledged emotions fester in the darkness, and one day they consume you. How many times have you avoided a difficult conversation only for it to poison your relationships? How often do you distract yourself from your own unhappiness, pretending everything is fine while an invisible weight drags you down? The monster you refuse to face only gains more power in the silence. But here's the truth. Suffering is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Every painful emotion is a messenger, guiding you toward what needs to be healed. Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." No amount of external success, no distraction, no temporary pleasure will silence what is unresolved inside you. The only way to escape suffering is not to run from it, but to move through it, to step into the cave. Meditation is one of the greatest tools for this. When you sit in silence, you confront the raw, unfiltered truth of your mind. You begin to see the hidden fears, the suppressed emotions, the wounds left unhealed. It is uncomfortable, yes, but it is necessary, because awareness is the first step to transformation. Once you acknowledge your demons, they lose their grip on you. If you want to fix your life, start here. Stop numbing your pain with distractions. Stop pretending your past doesn't affect you. Instead, ask yourself, what am I avoiding? What truth am I afraid to face? The longer you run, the heavier your burdens become. But the moment you stop and turn toward your fears, you realize they were never as powerful as you thought. So take a moment. Sit in silence for just 5 minutes. No distractions, no escape. What uncomfortable truth rises to the surface? That is the wound you must heal. That is the shadow you must illuminate. Because the only way forward is through. The path to transformation does not begin with external changes. It begins within. Most people believe that if they just change their circumstances, their lives will improve. They think that if they had more money, a better job, or a different environment, they would finally be happy. But what they fail to realize is this: your outer world is only a reflection of your inner world. You cannot escape your own mind. Wherever you go, your fears, your insecurities, and your patterns will follow you. If you do not fix what is within, no amount of success, no external achievement, no new opportunity will ever be enough. This is why true transformation starts with self-mastery. The great Buddhist teacher Ajahn Chah once said, "If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace." If you let go completely, you will be free. What are you still holding on to? What past mistake, what regret, what pain do you carry with you every day? Most people never realize that they are the ones keeping themselves trapped. They replay past failures in their minds. They hold on to grudges, refusing to forgive. They dwell on what could have been instead of focusing on what is. But what if, instead of carrying these burdens, you simply put them down? Imagine holding a heavy stone. At first, it doesn't seem too bad, but after minutes, hours, days, your hand starts to tremble. Your arm weakens. The weight becomes unbearable. This is what happens when you refuse to let go of the past. The burden only grows heavier. The suffering only deepens. But the moment you release it, the relief is instant. The weight disappears. Freedom returns. The mind clings to suffering because it is familiar. Pain becomes a comfort, a story we tell ourselves over and over. But if you want peace, if you want true focus, if you want to step into the next chapter of your life with clarity, then you must be willing to let go of the things that no longer serve you. Ask yourself, what story am I still telling myself that keeps me stuck? Maybe you tell yourself you are not good enough, that you are not capable, that your past defines you. But the truth is, you are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not the person you were yesterday. Right now, in this very moment, you have the power to rewrite your story. The mind is a tool. It can be your greatest weapon, or it can be your greatest enemy. It all depends on how you use it. But in order to use it effectively, you must train it. This leads us to the next lesson. Mental discipline is everything. There is an old Zen story about a student who asked his master, "How do I train my mind?" The master replied, "If you want to control an ox, you must first put a rope around its neck. If you let it run wild, it will trample your fields. If you tame it with patience and consistency, it will serve you for life. Your mind is the ox. It is powerful. But if left unchecked, it will run in every direction, dragging you with it. Distraction, overthinking, emotional impulses, these are signs of an untamed mind. But a trained mind? A trained mind is precise. It is disciplined. It does not waste energy on meaningless worries or useless distractions. It moves with intention, with purpose. And the way to train it is simple. You must become the master of your attention. Where focus goes, energy flows. Most people spend their days scattered, constantly shifting between tasks, unable to concentrate. They consume information without thinking. They react to everything around them. They live in a state of mental chaos. But focus is a skill, and like any skill, it must be practiced. Buddhism teaches one-pointed awareness, the ability to direct all of your attention to one thing at a time. If you are eating, just eat. If you are walking, just walk. If you are working, just work. This may sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful habits you can develop. Because the more you practice deep focus, the stronger your mind becomes. The more you resist distraction, the sharper your awareness grows. A samurai does not divide his attention in battle. He does not swing his sword while thinking about what to eat for dinner. He is fully present, fully aware. This is how you must train your mind. The modern world has made focus a rare skill, but those who develop it, they become unstoppable. Imagine how much more you could accomplish if you could focus without distraction for even 1 hour a day. Imagine how much your relationships, your health, your career would improve if you gave each moment your full attention. The mind is either your greatest asset or your greatest liability, and you decide which it will be. So how do you sharpen your focus? First, eliminate distractions. Distractions weaken your mind. They scatter your energy, leaving you exhausted and unfulfilled. Look at your life. What is stealing your focus? Is it your phone, social media, endless notifications? Remove them, not reduce. Remove. A great warrior does not train in a battlefield full of noise. He trains in a place of stillness, where his mind can be sharpened without interference. Your environment matters. Create a space where focus thrives. Second, train daily. Set a time each day where you practice deep focus. It could be meditation, reading, working on a skill. The key is to engage fully, without distractions. If your mind wanders, bring it back. If emotions rise, observe them, but do not engage. This is how mental discipline is built, through repetition, through patience, through practice. Third, understand the power of patience. Most people give up too soon. They expect instant results. But focus is not developed overnight. It is like sharpening a sword. Each day you refine it. Each day you remove the dull edges. If you expect mastery too quickly, you will be discouraged. But if you trust the process, if you embrace the daily discipline, then over time, your focus will become a weapon. And when that happens, everything changes. You stop wasting time. You stop chasing distractions. You move with purpose, with clarity, with power. This is the path of true mastery. So ask yourself, what distractions will I remove today? How will I train my mind? Because the choice is yours. Live in a state of mental chaos, always pulled in 100 directions, or train your mind to be sharp, focused, and unstoppable. The path is clear. The only question is, will you take it? Mastery is not a gift. It is not luck. It is not something granted to the chosen few. It is a decision to rise above the noise, to train the mind, to commit fully to a path of growth. But most people never make that decision. They allow life to happen to them rather than shaping it with intention. They drift, reacting to whatever comes their way, blaming circumstances, waiting for the perfect time to change. And that time never comes. The truth is, nothing changes until you change, until you take control of your mind, your habits, your focus. Buddhism teaches that suffering is not caused by life itself, but by resistance to life. People suffer not because of what happens to them, but because of how they interpret and respond to what happens. Think about it. Two people can experience the same event, yet one will be broken by it, while the other will rise stronger. Why? Because one has trained their mind. One has learned to respond instead of react. One has chosen to be the master of their own emotions rather than the victim of their circumstances. So ask yourself, who is really in control of your life? Is it you? Or is it your fears, your doubts, your habits, your emotions? Because until you take full responsibility, until you stop waiting for the world to change and instead change yourself, you will remain stuck. But when you make the decision to take control, to sharpen your mind, to master your focus, everything shifts. This brings us to the next lesson. Control your emotions, or they will control you. There is an old Buddhist story about a man who insulted the Buddha. He shouted at him, mocked him, tried to provoke him. But the Buddha remained unmoved, completely at peace. Finally, the man asked, "Why do you not respond? Why do you not fight back?" The Buddha simply smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift but you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" The man fell silent. He understood. The Buddha was teaching that anger is only yours if you choose to take it. Most people go through life allowing their emotions to dictate their actions. They react impulsively, getting lost in anger, frustration, anxiety. They let outside events determine their inner peace. But a truly disciplined mind remains steady, unshaken by the storms of life. This does not mean suppressing emotions. It means mastering them. It means understanding that emotions are like waves. They rise, they fall, they pass. But you are the ocean. A mind that is controlled by emotions is weak. It is erratic, unpredictable, easily manipulated, but a mind that has learned to observe emotions without being controlled by them, that is a mind that cannot be broken. So how do you achieve this? First, develop awareness. Most people don't even realize when they are being controlled by their emotions. They react automatically without thinking. But when you train yourself to notice emotions as they arise, you gain the power to choose how you respond. When you feel anger rising, pause, observe it, recognize it for what it is, a temporary state, not your identity. Second, detach from thoughts. Buddhism teaches that thoughts are like passing clouds. They come and go, but they are not you. When a negative thought arises, do not engage with it. Do not analyze it endlessly. Simply observe it, then let it go. The mind will try to trick you. It will try to convince you that every thought is important, that every fear must be entertained. But when you realize that thoughts have no power unless you give them power, you become free. Third, practice stillness. A warrior does not react to every movement in battle. He waits, he watches, he chooses his moment. Meditation is the training ground for the mind. When you sit in stillness, focusing only on your breath, you strengthen your ability to remain present, to detach from thoughts, to observe without reacting. And over time, this discipline carries into daily life. You no longer react emotionally to criticism. You no longer lose focus because of fleeting distractions. You no longer allow external chaos to disturb your internal peace. This is power. This is true control. And this is the key to unlocking your highest potential. Because when you master your emotions, you become unshakable, no longer controlled by fear, no longer pulled by distractions, no longer a slave to impulse, but instead fully in control of yourself. And when you reach this level of discipline, everything changes, your focus sharpens, your mind becomes clear. Your energy, once wasted on unnecessary thoughts and reactions, becomes a force that propels you forward. This is how great leaders, warriors, and thinkers have always operated, not by reacting, but by mastering their response. The final lesson for today: the strength of a single decision. People underestimate the power of a single choice. They believe that change requires massive effort, that transformation takes years. But in reality, all it takes is one decision, one moment of absolute clarity, one moment where you finally say, enough. Enough wasting time, enough letting distractions win, enough being ruled by fear and doubt. When you make a firm decision, when you commit fully to a path, your life begins to shift immediately. Not because the external world changes, but because you do. And when you change, everything around you follows. But the mistake most people make is this: they hesitate, they wait for more certainty, more motivation, more signs, and in doing so, they waste time. Time that could have been used to build, to grow, to move forward. But those who succeed, they do not wait, they decide, they commit, and they act. The great samurai Miyamoto Musashi once said, "When you decide, act immediately. Delay only brings weakness." So what decision have you been avoiding? What is the one thing you know you must change? What is the one habit, one distraction, one excuse that you must eliminate? Make the decision now, not tomorrow, not later. Now, because the moment you do, you step onto the path of mastery, a path of discipline, a path of clarity, a path of true freedom. And once you take that first step, you will never look back. The path to mastery is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about choosing again and again to rise above distractions, to sharpen your focus, to train your mind until discipline becomes second nature. But this journey is not easy. It will test you. It will demand sacrifices. It will require you to let go of everything that weakens you. And most people, they are not willing to do it. They cling to their distractions. They hold on to their excuses. They let their emotions control them. And because of that, they remain stuck. But those who make the decision to break free, those who choose discipline over comfort, those who train their minds instead of letting the world train them, those are the ones who rise. And if you are ready to be one of them, if you are ready to truly take control of your focus, then you must master the discipline of action. There is an ancient Buddhist teaching that says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." But the mistake most people make is that they never take that first step. They wait, they analyze, they hesitate. They get lost in overthinking, in self-doubt, in the illusion that they need more time before they begin. But the truth, there is no perfect time. There is no perfect plan. There is only now. And the only way to build focus, the only way to develop discipline, is to act. Not tomorrow, not later. Now, most people waste their lives waiting for the perfect conditions to start. They say, "I'll start working on my goals when I have more time. I'll focus on my health when I feel more motivated. I'll change my habits when things slow down." But life does not wait. And every day you delay is another day lost. A warrior does not wait until the battlefield is perfect before drawing his sword. He acts, he adapts, he moves forward. Your mind must be the same. If you wait for motivation, you will stay where you are. If you wait for clarity, you will never begin. If you wait for the fear to disappear, you will be waiting forever. The strongest people, the ones who master their focus, are not the ones who feel ready. They are the ones who act despite not feeling ready. And the more you train yourself to take action, without hesitation, without overthinking, the more unstoppable you become. So ask yourself, what is one thing you have been delaying? What is one goal, one habit, one decision that you have put off, waiting for the right moment? Make the decision now, not tomorrow, now. Because the moment you take action, you break the cycle of hesitation. You begin to build momentum. You prove to yourself that you are in control. And once that happens, everything changes. But action alone is not enough. If you want to truly master your focus, you must also master the power of stillness. The modern world is designed to keep you distracted. Everywhere you look, something is fighting for your attention. Social media, notifications, endless information pulling you in 100 different directions. And most people live in this constant state of mental noise. They never sit in silence. They never give their minds space to think, to reflect, to sharpen. But the strongest minds, the most disciplined minds, understand that stillness is power. A Zen master once said, "A muddy pond does not become clear by stirring it more. It becomes clear by being still." The same is true for your mind. If you are constantly consuming, constantly reacting, constantly filling your head with distractions, you will never develop clarity. But when you create space for stillness, when you learn to sit in silence, something incredible happens. Your thoughts settle, your focus sharpens, your energy returns, and suddenly you begin to see things clearly. This is why meditation is one of the most powerful tools for mastering focus. It trains your mind to resist distraction. It teaches you how to observe thoughts without being controlled by them. It strengthens your ability to remain present, to focus fully on the task at hand. And the best part? It only takes a few minutes a day. 5 minutes of stillness, of deep breathing, of simply being. This alone can sharpen your mind in ways you never imagined. Most people avoid stillness because it forces them to confront their thoughts. They fear silence because in silence there are no distractions. There is only the truth. But if you want to master your focus, if you want to rise above the noise of the world, then you must train yourself to embrace stillness. Because the ability to sit with yourself without distraction, without escape, is the ultimate test of mental strength. And once you master this, once you can remain completely present, completely in control, completely aware, you become untouchable. So how do you apply this in your daily life? First, start small. Take 5 minutes each day to sit in silence. No phone, no distractions, just you and your breath. Observe your thoughts without reacting to them. If your mind wanders, gently bring it back. Second, eliminate unnecessary noise. Look at your life. What distractions can you remove? Are you constantly checking your phone, constantly consuming content, constantly surrounding yourself with noise? Create space for silence. Instead of filling every free moment with stimulation, allow yourself to be. And third, bring this awareness into everything you do. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. When you work, just work. Be fully present. Because the more you practice this, the more natural it becomes. And over time, your focus will sharpen, your mind will become clear, and you will begin to move through life with a level of awareness, discipline, and control that most people never achieve. This is the path to true mastery. This is how you become unshakable. So the question is, will you continue living in distraction? Or will you train your mind to be still, to be focused, to be powerful? The choice is yours, and the path is waiting. All you have to do. True mastery is not about controlling the world around you. It is about mastering yourself. The mind, when trained, becomes the sharpest weapon. But when left undisciplined, it becomes your greatest enemy. Every wasted moment, every distraction you entertain, every excuse you allow to take root, is a step further from your potential. And yet, most people do not realize they are sabotaging themselves, not because they lack intelligence or ability, but because they lack control over their own minds. Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." If your thoughts are weak, your actions will be weak. If your thoughts are undisciplined, your life will be chaotic. But if you sharpen your mind, if you train it to focus, to be disciplined, to reject distraction, you become unstoppable. But how do you reach this level? How do you go from being scattered, pulled in 100 directions, to developing an unshakable focus that allows you to achieve anything you set your mind to? It begins with one of the most difficult but powerful lessons of all: detachment from outcome. Most people live in a constant state of anxiety, worrying about results, obsessing over success and failure, trying to control things that are beyond their reach. They fear making mistakes. They fear judgment. They fear that if they take action and it doesn't work out perfectly, they will have wasted their time. But this is a lie. Buddhism teaches that attachment to outcomes is the root of suffering. People want certainty, guarantees, assurance that every effort will lead to success. But life does not work this way. You cannot always control the results, but you can always control your actions. A great warrior does not step into battle worrying about whether he will win or lose. He focuses only on what is within his control: his training, his strategy, his discipline. If he becomes consumed by fear of failure, he hesitates, and hesitation is death. Your mind must be the same. Detach from the need for immediate results. Stop over-analyzing. Stop fearing failure. Stop obsessing over what could go wrong. Instead, focus on the process. Focus on putting in the work. Focus on showing up every single day and sharpening your discipline. Because success does not come from worrying about success. It comes from mastering the moment in front of you. A Zen master was once asked, "What is the key to happiness?" He simply replied, Do the work, but do not be attached to the reward. This is the path. And once you accept this truth, once you learn to act without attachment, you become free. Free from hesitation, free from doubt, free from the endless cycle of overthinking that keeps most people trapped in mediocrity. This leads to the next lesson, the power of extreme ownership. Weak minds blame others. They make excuses. They convince themselves that their circumstances, their past, their surroundings are the reason they cannot succeed. But strong minds take full ownership. They understand that no one is coming to save them. They do not waste time complaining about what they cannot control. They take complete responsibility for what they can control. This is the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck. If you are not where you want to be, look in the mirror. If you lack focus, if you keep falling into distractions, if you are not making progress, it is not because of external forces, it is because of your choices. And that is the greatest realization you can have, because it means you have the power to change. The moment you stop making excuses, the moment you stop blaming others, the moment you take full ownership of your actions, your thoughts, your habits, everything shifts, because once you realize that you are in control, you become unstoppable. A warrior does not blame the battlefield. He does not complain about the conditions. He adapts. He finds a way. He takes full responsibility for his victory. You must do the same. But taking ownership is not just about action. It is also about disciplining your mind. Your mind will try to deceive you. It will try to pull you back into comfort, into procrastination, into weakness. It will tell you to take a break, to relax, to avoid discomfort. This is the mind's natural tendency. It seeks ease. But ease does not lead to greatness. It leads to mediocrity. If you want to sharpen your focus, if you want to master your life, you must learn to command your mind instead of being controlled by it. A great warrior once said, "Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most." This is the battle. Do you listen to the part of your mind that craves instant gratification, or do you listen to the part of you that seeks mastery? Every time you give in to distraction, you weaken your focus. But every time you resist, every time you push through discomfort, every time you train your mind to stay present, you grow stronger. So how do you win this battle? First, eliminate everything that weakens you. If you constantly expose yourself to distractions, your focus will always be weak. Look at your habits, your environment. What is pulling you away from your goals? What is stealing your time? Remove it. Not reduce, remove. Second, train discomfort. Most people avoid discomfort, but warriors seek it. Train your body, train your mind, train yourself to push through resistance. The stronger your ability to endure discomfort, the stronger your ability to stay focused under pressure. Third, create rituals of discipline. Greatness is not built in moments of motivation. It is built in consistent habits. Wake up early, meditate, train, work with absolute focus, and do it daily, no matter how you feel. Because discipline is not about emotion, it is about action. And once you master this, once you learn to control your mind instead of letting it control you, you will rise above the average. You will develop a level of focus that most people never achieve. You will move with precision, with clarity, with power, because the mind is either your greatest ally or your greatest enemy, and the choice is yours. So ask yourself, who is in control? Your habits, your distractions, your emotions, or you? Because the moment you decide to take full control, the moment you reject excuses, distractions, and weakness, your entire life changes. This is not just about focus. This is about who you become. And if you master this, if you train yourself to be unshakable, then nothing, no challenge, no obstacle, no setback will ever break you. Because true strength is not found in external success. It is found in the mind that cannot be defeated. So the choice is yours. Will you continue to live like the rest, consumed by distraction, ruled by impulse, waiting for motivation? Or will you rise? Will you master your focus? Will you take control of your life? The path is clear. All that is left is for you to take the next step.